green here at the Clipsal 500 in Adelaide, but pretty soon it'll be red and white because the race leaders officially are Jason Bright and Mark Scaife of the Holden Racing team. In terms of track position, they're third and fourth, but they are the only cars in that top 5 or 6 to have made both pit stops. Beyond that, Ambrose in 9th, and interestingly enough, Craig Lowndes in 13th have made 2 pit stops.
Yeah, we're heading for a classic Ford versus Holden battle here, Woodsy. We've got the 2 Holden Racing team Commodores, Jason Bright and Mark Scaife, 3rd and 4th on the track, but effectively our race leaders back in 9th and 10th are Marcus Ambrose and Craig Lowndes chasing them in the 2 Fords. So if things go their way with safety cars, we could have a classic battle toward the end of this one.
Now this is an update for you if you've just joined us. Paul Morris was overcome by some pretty heavy fuel fumes before in the Big Kev Racer. He has been taken by ambulance for a precautionary check to the medical centre, but he is A-OK.
Well, that's good news. Marcus Ambrose now trying to pick his way through the field. Lowndes got shuffled back a few cars there in that restart. He was sitting right behind Ambrose, but he's lost a few positions.
What's Ritter doing there? That's unusual. He's pulled up. Oh, he's just allowed the traffic to go by, has he? You got a problem? Or?
Well, I don't know, but it's, it did look like he was letting them go, which is
very courteous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's Greg Murphy. Now this man hasn't made
anything.
One of his 2 compulsory stops, so it's very late in the race. Keep in mind the pit window for these compulsory stops closes.
Good stop, 68 first. Come in next lap for top. Come in next lap for top.
Yeah, they're going to back-to-back him.
Yeah, fuel on one lap and tyres on the next.
I realise they're running out of time.
That's going to shoot him down the order, though. I mean, that's just going to murder his track position.
And Craig Lowndes, we hear from pit lane, maybe pumping out a little bit of smoke. Oh, there he are. Looks like his tyres rubbing. And I'd be very surprised if Craig Lowndes could get through this race without having any panel damage. Look at the way he's trying to pick his way through this traffic. He took calls. Great race strategy. It's got tremendous racecraft, but every now and again you're going to come up against a slower competitor. You can see the battle damage just above the left rear tyre there.
It's got a scar on the left wheel. We need to look closer at that. Something weird happening there.
Yeah, I agree
contact with somebody.
So Lowndes, he has dropped a few positions to Marcus Ambrose.
It's just black.
A few positions up.
Has it picked up something? Oh, it's an odd look.
Maybe the boys can find out from Gibson Motorsport what's going on there, whether they have a drama with the car. Looks like it's just a tyre rubbing. There is some unusual colouring on that wheel.
The actual wheel is discoloured. You know, there's the right rear and it's all white. You look at the left rear and it's something, picking up something black.
The right wheel is all white.
Yeah,
it's all white, but the left one's not all white.
What is he saying?
Keep an eye on that. It doesn't look like it's an enormous amount of smoke. It's just when the car is loaded up as it goes through some of the corners. Let's have a look at this replay of the restart.
Oh, somebody being
no, let's see.
That's Ashby getting turned, but who did the turning?
The Kiwi guy.
Look at Lowndes. Look where Lowndes ended up. He had to go right round the back of Ashby.
So that's where the contact was made. That's why he's got some sort of an odd mark on the left rear. Here's Murphy's second stop now for tyres. He's done fuel. They brought him back in with sequential stops.
Gee, this hasn't worked his way at all, this race strategy. Even if he gets a safety car now, he's still going to be right at the back of the queue.
He's 16th.
And that's a tough way to try and win a motor race from here. Made his 2 compulsory stops. Murph gets back into the action, but boy, he's got a lot of work to do.
Talking to Fred Gibson down here, and apparently the deal is, as you pointed out, Neil, is just a bit of colouring from another, a bit of a contact there. There's no damage reportedly on the wheel. They're letting him stay out. Craig hasn't reported anything flat or it's doing anything amiss, so he will continue to circulate.
It's probably just folded the outer guard onto the edge of the tyre a little bit. Let's hope it doesn't cut down on it.
So the order at the moment, let's just settle this down. Jason Bright now is not only the nominal race leader, he is the race leader on the track. He's in first place. Mark Scaife is second. Glenn Seaton, Russell Ingall, Todd Kelly, they're still to make their second stops. They're in the sandwich between Mark Scaife and Marcus Ambrose. Ambrose now in 6th, and Craig Lowndes is in 9th. Stephen Johnson, I think, has made 2 stops as well.
Yeah, I think all these leading guys now, I'm just checking my notes, but I'm sure that all of these key guys have now got it out of the way. So we're into a clean race to the flag. Lap 46 of 78.
Still a long way to go, Neil.
Absolutely.
It really is.
So that is the order now. The leaders, after this length of race, these guys have made 2 stops. Jason Bright, the race leader. Mark Scaife's made 2 stops. Seaton's made 2 stops. Ingall has made 2 stops. Ambrose, Stephen Johnson and Craig Lowndes, they've all made 2 stoppers. So now they can have a clean run to the flag. This is going to be a battle. real battle of race speed now. Who's in the best condition in terms of tyre wear? Who's got the best setup?
And see Mark just rubbing his eyes there. It's because the guys sweat so much under the helmets and it pours into your eyes all the time. They end up so inflamed and it's so uncomfortable and there's no way of getting out because you're just so hot. It just pours in constantly.
Mark had to work very hard at getting his endurance, ergonomics better. The first time in the Adelaide 500 he had chronic back pain. He really was in trouble. It ended up causing him to crash the car out of the event.
He tends to use a different brake master cylinder size to some of the guys, so he has a slightly softer brake pedal because of the difficulty that he has experienced sometimes with his lower back. He makes it work for him. We've seen some demon qualifying laps and he's fine now in terms of his endurance form, but it knocked him around that year in '99.
Looking at those dials and gauges at the bottom of your screen, if you've never seen this before at home, it's still telemetry from on board this Holden Racing Team Commodore. Road speed on the left of your screen, engine revolutions on the right, and the middle's brake applications and gear locations. So you can see, oh, we've got problems here. Tander's still puffing out smoke. That car's got a lot of battle damage on it as Craig Lowndes tries to claw his way back toward the front. He's in 9th place at the moment in a ding-dong battle with Garth Tander. Lowndes will really be praying for a safety car here if he's going to make up that gap.
Oh, dear me.
That looks like that's going to cause a problem in the not-too-distant future. Oh, Scape's in trouble. He's turned it around.
Spun around, but it looks of it.
Now, where's that? Is that coming out of... Is that down on Bartels Road? I think that's the chicane on the back straight. Let's have a look.
He's hooked reverse.
He's found it.
That's novel.
He's going to do a flick spin somewhere here, is he?
Oh, I know where he is. He's in the braking area down the bottom of Brabham Straight. So instead of trying to do an awkward turn, I know, so it's the top.
Yeah, it's coming out of that. Coming out of that.
That's very
chicane
odd.
In the middle. So he's had a moment coming through there.
Get back in your rhythm, mate. Get back in your rhythm.
Robbie Starr, his chief engineer, just telling him get back into your rhythm, settle in.
Yeah, that's just beyond where Dean Canto went off.
So Scape, the most surprising moment there for the reigning Shell Series champion.
Okay, mate, don't lose your patience. You're just going to have to drive with it now.
So, let's see what happens
He
here.
launches off the inside ripple strip and then the outside one makes sure that he finishes the exercise.
This guy could give some lessons.
No, I'm not going to let up on him, Barry. No way.
No.
The corner is wrong, wrong, wrong.
This guy could give some lessons in advanced driving. He's kept this car off the concrete walls in a number of moments. Really a good indication of a man keeping his cool at a very, very dicey situation. Let's have a look at him inside. He realises, oh, he's missed a gear, has he?
Yeah, he didn't quite slot it.
Yeah, that's...
See, it's the tiniest little thing, isn't it? It means he's gone in there with just a little bit too much pace. And then the curbing's just launched him off the inside, then the outside. Very lucky not to end up tagging the wall.
And you don't realise how much you rely on the gearbox to slow you down until you miss a gear, do you?
Well, Escape, hasn't he had some moments this weekend? So now he comes back through this same corner where he had dramas just a lap before. That's the way you do it. Just checking out, he's dropped back to 13th place now. He was running second, so he's outside the top 10. He wasn't working hard enough before. Mark Scaife is really going to have to dig deep now. 110% effort to try and claw his way back. And he's got some quality competition in front of him. Look at that top 10. Jason Bright. Glenn Seaton now moves up to second. Russell Ingles third. Todd Kelly, strong performance in the K-Mode Commodore. He's up to fourth. Marcus Ambrose now. Can you believe Ambrose? He got turned out of race one when he was fifth yesterday. He's now back into fifth position after all that. So Ambrose very handily placed. Stephen Johnson in sixth. Craig Lowndes in seventh. Larry Perkins eighth. Tony Longhurst ninth. And Stephen Richards in the second of the FTR Fords in 10th. So strong performance here from the blue and whites.
Ambrose, to my record, has got the fastest lap, 26.3.
That was set on lap 46. That was only 3 laps ago.
Yeah.
So Ambrose really has the hammer down.
They're actually, at this stage of the day, running very quick. The net loss for Mark Scaife out of that exercise at turn 9 was 36 seconds to get the car backed up in the right position and off and running again.
as Mark was saying, I mean, he did a really good job to keep the thing off the wall, didn't he?
Yeah, he's done that a number of times this weekend. When Radicic gave him a tap the opening laps of leg one, I really thought he was going to be crunching into the concrete, but he managed to keep it off the walls there as well. So great driving from Mark Skate.
If you look at the top sort of 8, they're not that far apart. You know, really, it's about what, 7, 8, 9 seconds covering the top 10.
Just watching this gap between first and second too. It's 2.7 seconds between Jason Bright and Glenn Seaton. Seaton's just pulled half a second off that lead last time around. So we're just going to watch the race speed of Seaton. He looks well positioned here. The car's obviously punching out some good numbers.
His last lap time was good, Mark, just sort of analysing that more carefully. And I was about to make a remark that their general speed at this stage of the game is pretty quick for this time of day. It's pretty hot out there.
Russell Ingall's closing in behind Glenn Seaton as well. Look at the enforcer, headlights on.
Glenn's looking down to the left there and he'd be making adjustments to the front or rear anti-roll bars as Russell zeroes in. He wants to trim the balance of the car.
As we work towards the end of the second leg of the Clipsal 500, might be a good idea to keep an eye on the contrasting styles. Paul Wheel came in a short moment ago. He has broken the steering in his car. He is out. And Garth Tander, seconds ago, came racing into the Gary Rogers Motorsport team for yet another stop for a front left tyre. The reason being is he keeps getting damage from all the guards rubbing on the tyre. The team have told him, keep it off the curbs.
Yeah, because there's damage from the contact that he's had early on. When he pounds up over the curbs, it must be firing the guard onto the tyre and then cuts the tyre down. We're watching Russell Ingall, lap 51 of 78. Brighty leads it by 2 seconds from Glenn Seaton, then Russell Ingall, Todd Kelly, Marcus Ambrose, great job, Stephen Johnson, Craig Lowndes and Larry Perkins.
Tony Longhurst and Stephen Richards round out the top 10. More after this break. You're watching the Clipsal 500 on Network 10.
Russell Ingall has taken Glenn Seaton and thus taken second place in the Clipsal 500 race 2 for maximum points this weekend, 360 in fact. Jason Bright, who was more than 80 points off the championship leaders Scaife and Lowndes, has picked up a big lead of 4.6 seconds and Lowndes in again.
Oh, wow, what's going on?
Well, there is a problem with that right rear.
Left rear.
The left rear, I should say. Yeah, we saw that earlier on.
We're actually here with the car now. Now something has happened in the rear of this car. We'll try and show you the actual photo of the tyre here. Let's get a look at it. Look at how badly damaged that tyre is. It's warped it almost. And to the front of it, you can see here. Look. There's some of the damage there. Look how badly it's eaten away into the carcass of the tyre. There's damage to the rim as well.
Yeah.
So contact of some sort there must be the cause.
That was that incident that we saw earlier on. And as Craig's rejoined now and they've sorted that, but that puts him out of contention. He's battling there with Dougal McDougall. Meanwhile, Jason Bright at the top of the order has really put the hammer down in the last couple of laps. He's ripped right into the 26s.
That's interesting because Mark Skaife is just ahead of Lowndes in this queue. Have a look at these cars. There's Dougal McDougall just up ahead of him, and you'll see the Holden Racing Team Commodore up in the front of this bunch. So Lowndes has Skaife well within his sights after making that stop. Jason Bright, meanwhile, the battle continues. Russell Ingall, 4.2 seconds in arrears of our race leader. So Bright's doing a masterful job out here. 1:27.71.
A little bit of traffic for him now, just pulled his times back a bit, but he went through a sequence of about 2 or 3 laps where he really squeezed the lemon and just made some ground. Meanwhile, Russell was able to get past Glenn. Great braking manoeuvre into the hairpin.
Commodore's 1-2 at the moment. Glenn Seaton, the fastest of the Fords, in third position.
I believe it was Paul Wheel that tangled with Craig Lowndes in that incident up at the end of Wakefield Street that we saw a little bit earlier, and when we then started to speculate, oh,